G'day guys, Paul here from Getgowin. We are back in the Canoe. Happy days. Travel 3 hours south down from Brisbane to a little estuary, the SANDON River, northern New South Wales. I've been here a couple of times before and I know of a good camp spot. So we're going to head in there, just drop the lure in. And yeah, we're going to head to camp. I had to bring some firewood this trip because last time I was here there was no firewood, and the fire that I scratched up, or the wood that I scratched up I should say, was just hopeless. So went bush a couple of weeks ago, cut down some wood into pieces and chucked in the back of the canoe here. So yeah, we're going to head to camp, set up the camp from a point of view of dropping off the firewood, dropping off the bags and so forth, and then we'll head back out fishing again and see if we can catch ourselves some lunch. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit windy out on the estuary this morning, it's a bit chopped up, but we can deal with that. So join me this week, let's see how we get on and see if we can have a cracking weekend. I'm not sure if this is a fish or a snag. No, it's a fish. Whatever it is, it's pulling, it's bobbing its head. It appears to be a pretty good size. We're literally only 2 minutes into the water. Come on. Might be a skate stingray. It's playing fairly dead at the moment. Oh, there it goes. Bit of a head shake. What do we got? It's a foul hook broom. Happy days. There we go. One for the trip. Come on. He's a bit undersized. We'll put him back. Yeah, 24 centimetres. Just too small, unfortunately. Let him go. Not a bad start for our weekend. Alright, we just offloaded the wood, a few other bits and pieces at camp. I've kept the packing on the bow of the actual canoe itself just to keep some weight in the nose. There's a fair bit of a breeze coming down the river. And I've just been sitting on the bank watching the water go by, and it's just turning now, so the river's now going to get pushed back upwards again with the tide coming in. Low tide was at about 11:30, it's closing up on 12:30 now, so 10:30 low tide, sorry. And yeah, about 12:30 now. So the tide's just starting to push up to this part of the river, so we're going to follow it in. But unlike the last couple of times I've been here, I'm actually going to stop and do a lot more fishing. The last video I did on this particular system, I was watching it on Thursday night. I thought, oh, I'll just refresh myself into the system where we can go fishing. And I paddled up, particularly that night and even the next morning, right up the river, chasing fish. And I went past so many beautiful areas where there would have been fish sitting, lovely snags and fall downs in the river, and lovely mangroves hanging over the water. There would have been fish sitting there everywhere, and I'm just cruising by with a lure in the water trolling. It's like, what are you doing, you idiot? Pull up and fish. So that's what we'll do today. We'll go a little bit further up here, and then yeah, every time we find somewhere where there's snags and mangroves and areas where I think there should be fish sitting, we'll pull up. I've got right to both ends of the canoe here. We'll tie up and flick some lures around and see if we can catch ourselves some lunch to cook on the fire or dinner. Either way would be fine. All right, tied up on the bank here. Got a tiny little lure on. Let's see what we can catch ourselves for lunch. Nice here, we're out of the wind. Just fishing in front of a few twigs here at the end of a tree. See if there's any sitting underneath that. I enjoyed that spot. So we're just going along with the river now. As the tide comes in, as I said, just flicking into the bank and under some trees. of moving it around with the wind, unfortunately, but at least we don't have to paddle. Just parked myself in a little sandbar here with a prawn imitation. Soft plastic. Fish in the system, I've seen some. A couple of little whiting as they come onto this bank. Just going to try and look out what they're going to eat. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty happy with this. Whiting. Happy days. First whiting. Let's see if he's legal. Off the lure. Get rid of that. There's our measuring stick. These are slippery, slimy little buggers. Let's have a look. I'm going to stretch out. Ooh, 28. Yep, just on 28 centimetres. Excellent. That's what we want for lunch. We might see if we can get about 2 or 3 more of these little guys. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Well, it's just past 2 o'clock, so I think we might take that whiting back and fill him up. Chuck him in the frying pan, have him for lunch before he gets too hard and stiff. No further bites. There are a few little whiting around, but nothing that was going to take anything I was offering. Well, gee, we'll cruise back. The lure trolling at the back as always. Head back and have a beautiful whiting. First whiting caught on a lure. Happy days. An absolutely glorious afternoon. It's one of a few midges. I might have to get the little flex tail out, set it up out here. Either that'll get the fire going. Did not want to get bitten to pieces this afternoon, that's for sure. Just setting the fire up, or the just setting up the gas stove, and then we'll fill up that fish and cook him up in the frying pan. Definitely have to get this flex tail out, set the tarp up after we have this, and all the sleeping gear and so forth. We might get the flex tail out, then set that up above the tarp. And we're definitely going to need the mosquito net, so we're going to get that really well organised tonight, because otherwise I'm going to get eaten to pieces, I would suggest. Might get better when the sun goes down and it cools off, but we'll see how we get on. That is remarkably good fish. You can see why this is so popular in the cafes and restaurants in Australia. You pretty much go to any cafe in Australia, you can get whiting fillets with chips and salad. I can see why it's so popular. It's just beautiful fish. All right, quick update. Midges just started to drive me crazy. I had to swarm in my arms, legs, ankles, back of my necks and ears. Got the little flex tail out of these little guys, cranked him up, started it up, see if that'd help. And realised after about 30 minutes that no, it wasn't doing anything. Yes, it was keeping a little area around in front of me here, there's a bit of a breeze. So I thought, all right, let's just start slowly packing the canoe up and see how it works, and if it gets working enough that it can stop them, great, fantastic. And that'll give me sort of 35-40 minutes, as I said, to understand its value. And unfortunately, 40 minutes in the canoe, nah, absolutely. I jumped into the canoe and there was a million of them in here. And yeah, they just buzzed around me and started biting again. They didn't care about the fact that I had this thing hanging around my neck running, so pretty disappointing. That's all right. So gonna go head back to the car, pack it up, put it in the gear into the car and so forth, drive to town, see if I can catch a shop that's open and get some DEET, some sort of DEET, or what do we call it in Australia? Bug spray. God, I can't even think of the name but now, but anyway, any sort of a spray that'll keep the little buggers off me. And if I can get back to that camp, I will. Otherwise, I'm just going to drive around this river and see if I can find somewhere else just to perch on the side of the river for the night. I don't really care where I camp, to be honest. That's a beautiful spot, but I don't really care. Aerogard, that's the product. And yeah, anyway, so then we'll head back and see what we can do there. And if we can find a spot to camp, great, brilliant. If not, there is a campground here. I can always up to the campground. That's always a last resort for me, I'll be honest. But yeah, there's no way I was going to be able to sit around camp, cook dinner, all that sort of stuff over dusk and not just get eaten alive. I don't have a tent that I can climb into. I could set the tarp up, and I do have the mosquito net, that would help. But with a tent, you can sort of sit inside it and eat and all that sort of stuff and enjoy your evening, but not really with the mosquito net. So anyway, all good. We'll see how we get on. Well, what have we got here? Just trolling on the way back to the car. Catch ourselves some dinner. Oh, oh. It's a bloody great big flathead. Whoa. We'll take this guy, because wherever we end up camping, sleeping, we still cook up a flathead. Come on, buddy. Looks like it might be size too. Whoa. Come on. Yeah, nice. It's like a sandy. I have to check the, there's an app for New South Wales fishing. I'm just going to check that to see if it is sized. Do not want to be catching fish in that size. If it was a dusky, it'd be size. Let's have a look. Well, I think that's going to do us for dinner, guys. That is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful flathead. Very, very nice eating. We'll take him home for dinner. Slow road back, slow river back, slow paddling. Midges are coming still into the canoe here, little buggers. Just thinking to myself, gee, that's beautiful on the water this time of the evening. 4:30, quarter to 5. Sun's just setting over behind my left shoulder here. It's pretty. Coming against an incoming tide, so it's fairly slow going, but you get to see a lot of territory. And I can see the bottom here, and it's probably about, I don't know, 1.5 meters, 2 meters deep. Crystal clear water. Just beautiful. Such a nice place to be in the evening. We'll get to the car. We can head straight down to the little caravan park, or the little campground here, see if there's a shop. If there's not, we'll see if they've got a cabin. If they've got a cabin, we'll jump in there for the night. That'll do us just fine. If not, then we'll head back out, back into the local town here. I'll have a look on Gaia and a local map, Apple Maps and so forth, see what we can find on way to caravan parks. It is unfortunately the first weekend of the school holidays, so that makes it a bit hard accommodation wise and a bit expensive, but we'll see what we can find. As I said, we just need to get a place for the night. And if I can do that, then I'll come back in here tomorrow morning, do a bit more fishing. Such a beautiful waterway. Well, good morning folks. If you had said to me 24 hours ago that I'd be standing here in a little park on the side of a river making a coffee instead of at a campsite, I would have said you're mad. But ended up at the pub last night. First weekend of the school holiday, so absolutely flat out every caravan park, camping ground, everywhere I went. Went to the local camping ground at SANDON River, and unfortunately it's just one of those remote places where you just basically put $6 down and you can camp for the night. It was chock-a-block. Couldn't get anything like Aerogard or anything like that there, so I thought, all right, we'll try a few other places. Been out to Broom's Head, place was closed. So yeah, rang around Yamburu and all over the place, and I ended up on the beautiful Clarence River here this morning and the lovely town of Maclean. Ended up staying at the pub last night, had a chicken palmy, pot, a beer, which was nice. And just come down to the local river here this morning at dawn to make ourselves a nice coffee with the Alden. And then the idea will be we'll pack up and head back down to the SANDON River, and we'll do a bit more fishing this morning and see if we can find somewhere to have breakfast later on this morning as well. So, but it's just a gorgeous morning here this morning, no wind at all. It is supposed to blow up today, so we'll have to see how that gets on as well. But anyway, we'll wait for this coffee to brew and have that, and then we'll hit the road. Well, I'm probably the only person that's having an espresso coffee this time of the day in the lovely town of Maclean. Everything else is closed. Not a bad way to start the day, I have to say. Oh, that is the spot. Well, unfortunately, I've got back down to the estuary here and it's blowing a gale. As I said earlier on this morning and last night, that was the forecast. It's supposed to go up to about 45 kilometres an hour. It's a real pity. The tide's also on its way out, so that's probably not the best time for fishing, although it wouldn't harm it too much. But yeah, so I think what we might do is head back down to Broom's Head and make some breakfast. I'll cook up that flathead I got yesterday and we'll make that into some tacos. And then we'll evaluate if there's anywhere else we can go fishing around that area. But yeah, unfortunately on here, it's not a good time for a canoe. If I was in a kayak with a double paddle or something, maybe. Yeah, you could probably get across with it, but a canoe, light, with just the one paddle, I'd just be flogging myself the whole time. Anywho, let's go and make some breakfast. Well, what a mixed bag of a weekend. Awesome fishing, really nice to catch that little bream. Have the whiting for lunch and then flathead for breakfast this morning looking over the beach. That part of the weekend was freaking awesome, but unfortunately the camping side was a failure. The Midges got the better of me. Got to get ourselves some repellent, maybe some citronella candles, stuff like that to put around camp as well, just so we can actually cook around the fire without getting smashed too much. Not a big one, I'm smuggling myself in DEET all the time. It's an okay product, but no, long term it's not real good for you. But we'll find some alternatives for that. But hey, look, all good. Stayed at the pub last night, great feed, palmy in a pot, and a lovely bed for the night, so can't complain from that point of view. Just decided it wasn't worth packing up and going all the way home when you've come this far, and turned out to be a really good idea because I was able to come down here this morning, have that beautiful flathead for breakfast, looking over the ocean, and that's not a bad way to start your day, I have to say. Fishing's a no-go now, it's blowing right up. I can see it around the point here, it's just blowing a gale, so I think we'll pack up now, head on home, and I will see you guys in a fortnight's time. Bye for now.